Thank you, David, for that little speech. So our next speaker is, you may know her on Facebook. She goes by the name of Red Pill Latina. Anybody know her? Yeah. No? Yeah? So our next speaker, please give a warm welcome for Natalia.
Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here with everyone today. Thank you for joining us. Because this is more than a rally, we're celebrating 1 year anniversary or one of the largest, most influential Latino movement in the United States. Well, conservative Latino movement in the United States. Give it up for Lexe. Woohoo! So, I came all the way from Arizona today because I want to talk to you about a topic that is very dear to my heart and that is very crucial for us to understand, especially if we're Latinos, because we come from backgrounds of radicalism, we come from backgrounds of corruption, of tyranny. That's the reason why we came here in the first place. And either you or your parents or your grandparents, it was because in one way or another, our life, liberty, and private property wasn't being protected. It wasn't being respected. Have you ever wondered why Latin America, being one of the richest continents in the world in terms of natural resources, it remains one of the poorest? Why is that? The answer is worldview. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Unlike the founding fathers of the United States, or founding fathers, the Portuguese and the Spaniards did not come to the New World to make it their home, to take care of it, to grow it, but they came to rape the land and to steal from the people. Today, our Latin American leaders back home are doing exactly the same thing. They're following the step of our founding fathers. They're still raping the land and taking from the people. Many of our leaders back home have started movements that were for the people. These movements were promise of a revolution of liberty. They were promise of breaking free from the shackles of the rich and powerful. But what happens again and again and again? They end up ruling over the people, a price that we had paid with blood, with death, with suffering. They end up taking our right to defend ourselves, to choose for ourselves, taking all of our freedoms away. And these leaders, they have things in common. They always use these beautiful words. They use the word progress, humanism. How about globalism? It's for the good of the world, isn't it? How about, this is my favorite, socialism. But wait. Let's put some flowers on top and spray some perfume on it, and let's call it democratic socialism. Let me break it for you. It's the same thing.
That's right. Come on, girl.
Do you know Hugo Chavez, the president of Venezuela? He claimed to be a democratic socialist in order for people to vote for him. When he raised some power, you see what happens now. So, this process is actually, how does it all happen? This is actually a well-documented process. And I have something over here, some visuals, because I'm fancy like that. So first, divide a society with hate. A society that hates itself does not cooperate. There's no more debates, rational thinking. So divide a society into groups, the groups of the oppressed, to hate each other. women against men, gays against strays, browns against whites. In other words, identity politics. Then, identify a common enemy. For Hugo Chavez was the United States. For Hitler were the Jews. How about now in the United States? The pattern is repeating itself. Who? Who said? Trump. Exactly, Donald Trump. And they use these terms, as white privilege and white supremacists to make you feel like you've been cheated all of your life. Meanwhile, they integrate extensive social programs for the oppressed to take away your identity, to take away your self-sufficiency, to take away your independence. They want you to be completely dependent of the government. They want you to be completely dependent of the system. They want you to live at their mercy. Yeah. I'm gonna grab some water here. Excuse me.
Good. Keep on going. Doing it.
Next point. Eliminate any opposition from the legislative branch. If you go to any country in Latin America, you will not find one independent parliament. It doesn't exist. Then go for the judges. That way they get away with anything. What do you think the whole Kavanaugh fiasco is all about? They don't want honest people out there. They want people they can bribe. They want people that they can buy off so they can get away with anything.
That's right.
Increase state employment. 1 every 3 jobs in Venezuela is from the government. Then again, they want you so dependent of the government, you can rebel against it. Constitution reform. They want to rewrite the Constitution. Do you know that Evo Morales from Bolivia, in order for him to stay in power, he had to rewrite the Constitution. Instead of, it used to be Republica of Bolivia, now it's the plurinational state of Bolivia. He actually rewrote the Constitution and created a new name, created a new figure in order for him to stay in power. So every time you hear a politician talks about, let's rewrite the Constitution, just be very aware where the true intentions might be. Setting limits to private property, expropriation. More than 10,000 jobs, businesses in Venezuela. Big, small, large, you name it. People that have worked all their lives to have this. Maybe a future for their children. Maybe they inherit, generation through generations. Once the people goes to power, forget about it. It's not yours anymore. They don't care. They take it. Expropriation. Now it belongs to the government. Confiscations of firearms, it is fundamental because they want you defenseless. They don't want you to be able to defend yourself. Do you know that more than 1 million of people in Venezuela have been killed by the regime because they dare to rebel against it? And they had no way of defending themselves. So be aware of those facts before you hear a politician asking for your guns. Eliminate freedom of speech and freedom of the press. I think we're very well, unfortunately, we're very familiar with this. How many of you have been in Facebook jail? Maybe locked out of your Instagram, being shadow banned. That's what they do. They want to silence your voice because they don't want you to expose their evils. Meanwhile, the fake news media rise up because they need to maintain people in the dark. They need to maintain people deceived while they oppress the truth and the truthers. So, Let's see, that's it. So the resulting of all of this handbook, if you want to call it, is the annulling of the rights of the most important minority of all, the individual, which is all of us. Do these points sound familiar to you? Does it resonate? Could it be that history is repeating itself right in front of our eyes and we're not even recognizing it? If you're Latino, if you're a minority in this country, you are being targeted.
That's right.
You're being brainwashed. You're being deceived. You're being controlled. You're being bribed by these messianic political figures that tell you, oh, you're too poor, you're too stupid, you're a victim, you need me, the Messiah, to save you from the oppression. And you know what? We Latinos, we're warm-hearted people, and we're maternal by nature. And we have been programmed and predisposed to perceive this concept as good, as novel. I can't tell you how many times I've heard growing up. I was born and raised in Chile, by the way. I heard growing up, socialism is just the most merciful way to govern a country. Back then, I didn't know any better, but now, like, what the hell? We don't realize. They're appealing to our good nature. They're manipulating our good mental state. So many of our beautiful people from Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, El Salvador, you name it, they're desperately trying to escape from this fair and equality. They're desperately trying to escape from these humanistic, socialist utopias. And they're literally running for their lives to come here.
That's right.
But what happens to many Latinos once they get here? We vote, we support the same people, the same policies we run from in the first place.
That's right.
We need to realize that not on our side. We need to realize that Democrat Party are using the same tactics we're so familiar with. And they expect us not to question anything by giving us handouts. But guess what? We're Latinos, we don't need no handouts. We're hardworking people of sacrifice. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but statistically speaking, the majority of Latinos are entrepreneurs. So if anything, we should be advocating for capitalism.
Come on.
But we don't realize that these people are using the same tactics and pushing the same agenda and pushing the same policies that we fell for and did not work in our native countries.
That's right.
If it didn't work there, what makes you think it's gonna work here?
It's not.
And let me tell you a little piece of truth. The truth is, whether you know it or not, whether you want to hear it or not, that's not my problem. The truth is the truth, and it needs to be said.
That's right.
Are you ready for some truth?
Yes.
The truth is this. We fled our native countries to come here to the United States of America to find a functional republic where our life, liberty, and private property was going to be respected. God bless the United States of America, the land of opportunity, not the lands of handouts. And the main reason we gather here today, the most important reason we gather here today is because these freedoms are under attack.
That's right.
Unless, we freedoms that you enjoy today, they might not be here for your children tomorrow. Unless we stand up and join the good fight. to preserve the conservative values, the Christian Judeo values that this country was founded on. You know the globalists? These globalists, they have an agenda for this country. And globalism, by the way, is just coming into spread throughout the world. They're pushing for the one-world government. And the United States is in their way to accomplish their goals. So they're trying to bring the United States to its knees. They're trying to destabilize the United States. And everything was going fine in Dandy according to plan during the Obama era. And they were so sure Hillary was going to win and continue the legacy of death and destruction. But guess what? You woke up. We woke up to their lies that have been rooted in a manipulation game. And that's why we're called traitors. We're called coconuts. What else? What else you got? Sellouts. Racists. But you know what? Those are manipulation, intimidation tactics to silence our voices. Because they know our voices are a powerful force that would help many make the connection to freedom. So don't feel discouraged. We're many, we're a community, and we're here to fight, we're here to stay, and we're getting stronger, and we're only getting started. And we're gonna make sure that the United States of America will never become another Venezuela, will never become another Cuba, and we stand behind our President Donald Trump when he says, and I know you know this quote, the United States will never be
A socialist country.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.